Hey guys, how are you doing? I think it's my turn to pick up the camera again and to make a video. So I was watching BW Darren's this morning talking about where is everybody. So I don't really have that much going on, but I figured turn the camera on and do a little update. First is the bus. I've been running it around. Got about 2,000 miles on it since I put it on the road. And you know, some stuff has popped up. Biggest thing was it pops out of first gear, and as of late I was starting to get the oil light flashing at an idle, and again it's low oil pressure. So the other day I went and changed out the oil, retorqued the cylinder heads, readjusted the valve, just kind of gave the motor a once over. The valves are getting a little tight. You could hear it when it's cold. It was skipping a beat a little bit. Took care of all that. Again, the oil I changed it with, you're supposed to run it like a straight 30 in these motors, and I had put 1030 in it just because it's what I had. And again, the same thing, when the motor gets hot, it starts flashing at an idle. So I think the bottom end on this thing is starting to get a little on the tired side, but it is what it is. It's the motor that came with it. I never tore into the bottom end. The bottom end of it, the only thing I did was I ended up putting some used jugs and cylinders and whatever I had for heads, and just kind of took used parts and put a motor together. And of course that's the outcome sometimes when you do that. But it just so happens that I do have the motor out of the bug, and I won't tear it all down, but I'll go through it on the bench and do a compression test and make sure it doesn't need to have a head swapped out or leaky pushrod tubes or whatever. And I may end up swapping that motor in there. I did steal the oil pressure switch out of this motor and stick it in there and see if it was just a bad oil pressure switch. I didn't have a gauge for it. I don't have a gauge that threads into that size hole in the block. But I changed the oil, and let's go take a walk over here. And now this oil has only been in there just a day, and if you could look, you know, because the camera's picking it up, but just like you can see the little metallics kind of floating around in it. I don't know. Yeah, not good. See it? Yeah. Well, that is a sign that you got a problem. So hopefully, I mean, it's quiet. You run it, you don't hear any noise at all. There's no knocking or anything like that. But you know something's failing on the inside. My opinion is the mains are probably going away on the crank. But it is what it is, and you got to deal with it. So that motor may not be going in the single cab, may be going in this bus, and then I could build that. The motor that I take out, I could probably tear into, fix, and put that in the single cab. So I've been doing a couple of the shows, and I brought the board track racer with me to a couple of the shows, and I have 2 phone numbers of people that want me to build stuff for them. You know how that kind of goes, whether it's true or not. But one of the guys was there at the show for about an hour and a half, walking all around it, taking pictures of it. He's got the same motor, etc. An older guy. So I have his information, but I don't know, what would you charge, and how would you even figure out what to charge making them something like that? I told him each one's going to be different. It won't be the exact same thing, you know. And he seemed to have no problem with that. But anyway, off on a tangent there a little bit. The idea, I really haven't showed this stuff much at all. I pretty much build them and stash them away and run them up and down the street and around town a little bit, and show you guys on video. But other than that, they pretty much just sit. And so I took it to a couple of shows, and at one point I had a wall of people around me, about 25 people around me. But I kind of suffer from social anxiety. That's where YouTube is actually being my therapy with that. But it was kind of good that I was in my element, or else I would have had a panic attack. So going on, I want to take and bring one of the other bikes out, or both the other bikes out, or what, just, you know, kind of mix it up a little bit. So I dug out the first bike that I made, which was the Schwinn, one of those OCC Walmart bikes that I had cut up and put a clone motor on it, Honda clone, Subaru, whatever you want to call it. And got that motor set up. I just kind of doofed out the float ball and got it ready to rock and roll, and it should start. I was running about a half an hour ago. See if she'll go. No choke. And this one just thumps right along too. Gotta warm up a second. So I want to do some dressing up of this one and bring this one to a show. I want to cover this pulley up. I want to put something over it. Kind of cage, something. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. I just thought the thought came to me that I want to cover it. Now I got to go run around my scrap pile, see what I can kind of go find, or paint it out, or do something different to make that look a little bit different. So that's what I'm going to go work on right now. This one has this is a half of a moped, and it would have like a snowmobile setup. It would have a pulley, adjustable pulley on the front, an adjustable pulley on the rear that works with weights. This is half of that. The motor was blown, so I cut the transmission half off of it. What was nice is it's got a built-in clutch. So if you notice, that pulley's spinning around back there, but until it gets over a certain RPM, that clutch just stays as neutral. And it also has this back pulley expands. So, you know, it's like a CVT transmission. So what I have is this wrench going on to a lever to a pulley that you can push that belt in. And when you do so, it starts changing the gear ratio. And as you can see, it kind of brought it to clutching because it started spinning it faster and faster. But when you're going down the road, you give her some gas, that'll automatically spin when you rev it up. And then you put your foot on that lever, the more you push it down, the faster the bike goes. So that one's getting dusted back off again. And I just want to clean it up a little bit and see if I can add to it. Someone was asking me, you ever put one of those kicker wheels on it? The light, yeah, I did. But the first time I rode it, I went up to about 30-something miles an hour, and that seized up. And not to be forgotten, I took the trike out, and I got the battery charging. On that, we'll put some gas in that and kind of clean it up a little bit too, and just make sure everything's functional. And problem with that thing, it's so huge, you can't get it in the bus to move it around. So it will probably have to go on a trailer, or one day maybe I'll just take my pickup and I'll throw it in the back of the truck. I went to go to a bike show last year. It was like a bicycle show at a museum that also started accepting gas-powered bikes, so I was going to go bring them. I figured it was a good fit. And it was on a Saturday, and I thought it was on a Sunday. Oh well. And that's this one. And this one's a, guys who don't know, it's a 50cc four-wheel kids scooter, center, and then two of those OCC bikes, kind of like what that one's made out of, cut up and made into the frame and all the different pieces. If you look at it close, here's another set of the handlebars. Same as those from the other bike. It's got a barn hinge, sissy bar. It has some spring to it. Got springs under the seat, so that your rear end has some suspension. This is where the tires were. I cut the center of the rims out and welded sprockets on them, and then they drive two tires in the back, and it drives. I flipped that rim around and flipped the cassette around on the wheel, so both tires drive when power's put to them, but when you let off, they free roll. So what it's saying is it's a posi, but if you lift a tire, it still drives on the other tire at all times, but you can make real sharp turns without a binding. Make sense to you? Took a couple of the cranks and the old chains and kind of made the foot pegs for that one, and chain guards just to kind of give it the look like something like it was a bicycle, but they pretty much go to nowhere. Again, thermoses for fuel tanks, old VW Doom Buggy belt guard I use for the chain guard, on the regular part of the scooter, and then it made a Springer front end out of some bike parts. And it's got, it's got lights, tail light, headlight, no directionals. And again, it's 50 cc's, so it's not a falls under different guidelines for as far as what you can run on the road. I could actually run it as a moped, and it's got electric start. There's no fuel in it right now, but electric start, and it has backup kickstart if you've ever had to kickstart it. So that's that one. And I don't know, do I keep going with this stuff? All right, I'm rambling, I'll keep rambling. And then the next one is, you guys can see back here, but there's 2 mopeds back in here, and that's kind of the next one I want to work on. And not quite yet though, probably in the fall or in the winter. And right now, summertime is just too much stuff going on. I want to make like a chopper style bike, but using moped parts. Both mopeds are registered, so I already have tags for them, so it'll already be street legal. I'm gonna leave it to 50 cc's, just trying to get, fat tires in it, and I got some components I'm getting together already. I picked these up at a yard sale. These are just some old goggles, but they're all metal, and I'm thinking those might be the headlights. And if you guys remember, I found a shotgun barrel. Double barrel shotgun, rough. It was left out in the weather. It's missing the stock. It's missing a bunch of crap, and that's going to turn into, I think, my exhaust going out. I have the 2 shotgun barrels sticking out the back, chooching. Either that or other thoughts I thought of. I want to use the shotgun in some manner. It's either that, or it might be a sissy bar, or I might cut the barrels and try to spread them apart and heat them and make the handlebars out of them. But we'll see. That's the fun of doing that stuff, is making it up as you go along. And there's a couple more, but I'm not going to bother digging them out. A couple of the bikes that I already built. That little Schwinn with the kit motor on it. There's an electric fold-up one, and I don't know, some other stuff. All right, guys, I'm done gabbing. I'm going to see if I can make up something for that pulley on that other bike, and dress it up a little bit. All right, guys, take care. Bye.